Hey, what's up everybody? I'm Daffy Duck here once again, and I'm back from the Maxi Toys, and welcome back to more Let's Play of Marbles Bounce Challenge for the Nintendo Wii. So last time we actually did conclude Sizzling Desert in World 3, and we actually got every single collectibles we can get in one run. You know, just like how it does in World 2. So today for this episode, we're about to continue on and explore World 4, called, known as, well, according to the snowy looking level, Chill Mountain. So yeah, let's get this started here. So yeah, there's gonna be a lot of things to do here. Careful not to fall on the slippery ice tiles. So this meaning that in this world we're gonna have to deal with ice physics to deal with in this world. So because of that though, if you actually get slipped off from the these little ice tiles, then you probably end up falling off the level. So yeah, here we go, on to level 1 of Chill Mountain. So, I believe as you progress through each of the levels when we get into later on, the game can get pretty tricky later on. So, because of this, in this world, as I said earlier, if we walk into those little ice tiles right there, that will actually get ourselves a slippery physics to deal with here. So, basically, it does remind me of something almost related to that. How do I miss that? I was gonna barely touch it. Anyway. So, yeah, there's not much I can really talk about for, this today. It's the fact that, tomorrow, perhaps, after this video releases, is that, there's gonna be quite a lot of things that are about to be released on, during tomorrow, on the 18th of March. One might be involving, due to the fact that there's going to be the next Pokemon title. Well, usually technically not a mainstream Pokemon title just yet. And basically it's called Pokémon Tournament, which is usually a spin-off game from the Pokemon universe. Oh yeah, you remember how in the Sizzling Desert world, that in the Challenge Act mostly, that you see those little machine contraptions, is that it actually gives you like an option to go for like medium size to launcher size. But no, in this level that we actually expanded that. Oh god, springs! Springs are littered with springs everywhere. Anyway, so yeah, now we have ourselves a little, well, medium size to the small size version. So as far as I know already, because obviously that in the later worlds throughout, that it will actually get more involved in on that. So yeah, in this last part you have to be really careful on those little springs, because if you somehow touch one of those springs, then you might as well actually fall off at the very end of the level, although almost at the end. So that could be a bit of a tricky situation. So anyway, Chill Mountain 2. And then, in this level, we actually introduced in 2 dash panels, which does remind me of related to the Sonic the Hedgehog games. So, and as well some cannons over there, but we've seen that a couple of times before. And I somehow missed that, which is unfortunate. So, anyway. Yeah, so as a matter of fact though, that Pokémon Tournament for the Wii U was actually almost, come to its, launch day. On until tomorrow. I believe it's on the English versions mostly. That I believe when you actually if you actually pre-ordered the game, if you actually had the first purchase for the game, that oh yeah, you can actually grab the green crystal if you either just be launched by the dash panels, or my personal favorite is by flicking the Wiimote upwards. So that way, that will give me an easier, quicker time rather than just actually. Although, you can't do it if you wanted to, but it's just, well. No, we're gonna have to be very careful right there, because there's a last, Stone Temple parts, so. And of course, you can completely take a shortcut right there, and there we go. That concludes level 2. And then when the, some other people actually, purchased the game already, that, it did receive, as far as the reviews are concerned, that it did receive quite well, actually. Some of them are pretty good, actually, and some of them got mixed receptions. So, yeah, I think it's mostly because of how how bad the voice acting in this, because it feels way too delayed for dialogue. But anyways, and then as far as what I've noticed is that the controls can be can take a while to get used to with all this stuff, because as far as I know, that game was actually only played with the D-pad, so that's why they decided to actually release the actual special pad for Pokken Tournament based on the arcade machines, because obviously it doesn't have any way to actually play Pokken Tournament with the analog stick. Oh yeah, be careful of that magnifying glass. And then, I'm not going to touch the gold just yet, because if we approach to here, there's a green crystal at the end. So, just right behind this little rock thing, as you guys can clearly tell here. And there we go. So, another thing we'd like to notice is that there's going to be a next set of Super Smash Bros. Amiibos, and that will actually be the Famicom colors of Rob, the robot, and as well as Roy and Ryu at the moment. So, yeah, I'm actually looking forward to actually getting the, although, I gotta admit though, that I'm probably not gonna get the Rob Famicom version, is because even then, I think I've already got Rob as for its standard colors. As far as you guys can tell from the English version of the character selection screen, that Rob is just essentially just metallic grey. Whilst in the Famicom version, it's more likely just blonde and red. And some reds in these cases. Well, at least if in the Japanese version at least. Whilst in Super Smash Bros. Brawl, that it actually has involving its Famicom colors. So that makes it a hell of a lot more change from what I've noticed. Ah, dang it. I was just double checking on something, because I have no idea how do I get the green crystal from. Although, I will continue on until we actually discovered it, so let's go ahead and go through here to actually get ourselves into a gigantic form of itself. So, let's go ahead and maneuver this invisible platform, and it's going to be on that platform over there. So now I'm gonna make it to, at the very end, at least where we actually try to go ahead and go for these grind rails really quickly. So, even though I've got 6 crystals right now, so I think I've got about just 1 left. So, speaking of 1 left, there it is, right there. So, yeah, for the meantime though, as far as the Amiibo Smash Bros. For the Wii U and 3DS are concerned of, that, for the most part, I'm definitely gonna get the Roy and especially the Ryu Amiibo once that was gonna arrive tomorrow. So that's basically what we can get. And plus, not to mention that we're gonna we only have 3 Amiibos left on the entire completion of the character selection screen of the Smash Bros. For the Wii U and 3DS, which was basically Cloud, Corrin, and Bayonetta. So if I get those 3, then my Amiibo collection will be completed. Although technically I was going to get the Mii Fighters, but I'm not exactly sure on that, because I think I've almost run out of space of these things. So, yeah. Alright, so here's the Stone Temple part, and then basically what you can do here, although you can find a invisible path to actually get access to that place, or this little platform, by actually walking through that invisible platform. But you can do it's like a quicker method while actually just flick the Wiimote onto the left, on the far left, just in case if you actually try to catch it already. So, although luckily though, if you do, again, when you catch it from, if you press the retry button, you're still actually going to keep it with you, so, yeah. But if you actually do not, wow, I don't know what I think of. Okay, so now we need to go over here, because that's the way we need to get the green crystal from, so that's pretty easy to get. I think the Stone Temple part might actually be quite tricky at first glance. So, because normally I potentially try to go ahead and just take a little nice quicker way rather than the normal way, because obviously, although I don't mind about it too much, but at the same time, that, I have no idea why I just did that right there. Okay, let's try that again. So, yeah. Alright, so let's go for these little curved bridges, so they occasionally moves and such. And let's go for these little conveyor belts, and just get the last, crystal. And now we can actually get into the end of the level while avoiding those crushing fists. So, see if I can... Ah, darn it! one of the annoying things about this level though is that is actually getting to the end of this level, which I'm pretty sure that it was actually pretty possible to avoid these crushing fists while you're actually riding on the conveyor belt, because you're thinking that the conveyor belt will automatically take you onto the right, I'm thinking of, or in this case left. Is it right or left? It's right. Okay, just right. And basically every time when you actually get crushed, you immediately have to restart the checkpoint was, which does tend to aggravate me because, and sometimes a bit nerve-wracking at the same time, especially noticeable if you're trying to get the best run of this, on all of these levels mostly, because, god darn, trying to do it on a, trying to get to the end of this level with the crushing fists, especially with conveyor belts, no thanks. Because obviously, it makes it totally impossible. And in fact, the last one I did manage to dodge right there, then, you can, like, outright run into them, but, sometimes it can be quite tricky to dodge them. Especially when it comes to that little, control method you have to get grips with, so... And, believe it or not, when I finished that level, I actually accessed to my first unlockable marble, which was apparently Panda, so... Yeah, it almost reminds me of, like, Kung Fu Panda 3 that I used to watch, like, a couple of days ago, actually. So, anyway. Alright, so here we are at level 6 in Chill Mountain. So, we're practically almost done with this world, or in this case, halfway done with this world, pretty much, just because... obviously, we only got about a few things to do here, so... Yeah, that's basically what we can, get for that part. I'm not sure what I'm going here, although I'm kind of thinking of it. Is there a visible path right there? Nope. I guess there isn't. It does seem kind of pointless though at first, but still. Oh, darn it. Okay, come on. I guess another thing I would like to mention that, recently during the American, at least in the United States anyway, that, first time that, they actually have received a English version of, Mario... Stop that! Jesus Christ, man. Anyway, so, they actually now received a 3DS version of Mario and Sonic at the Rio 2016 Olympic Games until tomorrow, the exact same day as... I can't touch the checkpoint just yet because I need to get that, crystal. In fact, I actually completely ignored that at first. So let's go ahead and grab it. Anyway, that game, Mario & Sonic at the Rio 2016 Olympic Games on the 3DS, that was actually going to be released on the exact same day as Pokken Tournament, and as well as, these two amiibos, mostly Roy and Ryu, at the exact same... Whoa! Oh, that was close. Oh yeah, on the exact same, day, so, yeah. And also, one more thing I would like to mention, that, recently I've managed to get myself a... Oh, freaking... rail grinding loosely. Anyway, oh god. Anyways, let's try it again. And, I actually got ourselves a new DVD about, like, let's say about, like, 2 days ago, which was obviously the new My Little Pony DVD thing on UK, which is called Games Ponies Play. And I believe it or not, this was actually the last Season 3 DVDs in UK, just because there's only 2 of them so far, because obviously Season 3 of the actual show was a lot shorter than the ones in the other seasons, so mostly the first one, the second, the fourth, and the fifth. And I'm pretty sure they've actually spawned in 26 episodes in Season 6, so until when that was gonna show up, so yeah. And it also has to say, the more information's on Season 6 so far, which sure enough, they might as well have to be like that. So, anyway, now we move on to, level 7 of Chill Mountain, so even then, we've now actually access to Challenge Axe on that level, so... This world is quite tricky for the most part, because, sometimes that the gimmicks itself can be quite tricky to get used to with other stuff. And plus, not to mention, there are some ice physics involved, so just because if you run into the ice tiles especially, then you probably... That was close. Almost trying to make it outright run into these the almost endless possibility of trying to get it to make it there, but I somehow managed to be safe on that part. Now, before we continue, if you actually approach down here, there's a Stone Temple part. So yeah, pretty easy to grab there, so not too shabby though. And we need to tilt the platform just onto the other side and make sure that fan turns off, because otherwise fans will actually blow you off like a wind current. If we go then in here, that will actually access to the green crystals, so might be a bit tricky to grab though, but like you saw in this footage right now, that you know, that will actually deals with it. Oh yeah, I believe one more thing I would like to mention in this little game screen as you can see right now, that I think Anthony and Ant was actually walking on this little cogwheel, meaning that I think he was trying to watch you and then he's trying to speak to you at the exact same time. So that's basically where we can get for this part. Oh, great, another crushing fists. But luckily though, this part wasn't too bad, unlike this conveyor belts along with fists. It's pretty tricky to avoid this, it's more likely like this. Alright, Haunted House 7 we have unlocked, so here we go on to level 8 of Chill Mountain, so we're almost done. So, speaking of that, I believe we're almost halfway done with the actual game itself so far, so not too long to actually deal with this, but at least this game is consists of is definitely much longer than the original Coral Ripper was, because I'm pretty sure they might actually expand in some more levels, and including some level themes as well. So as you probably guys may have noticed, that the reason why that I still want to actually gonna do this game playthrough on normal difficulty, just because of the challenge and all that. But what happens if you actually play this game on easy mode? Well, basically if you select easy mode, whoa, Jesus Christ, man, what's up with this momentum? Anyway, so the easy mode consist of pretty easy mode. I mean, the only collectibles you might actually get on that particular difficulty, that will have to be the Stone Temple parts rather than green crystals at all. So at least in the normal version, like I'm playing right now, actually contains 2 collectibles, meaning the Stone Temple parts, and as well as these green crystals. So, yeah, that's basically where we decided to go for. There's a green crystal right there, and believe it or not, I actually completely ignored that invisible platform right over there. Oh, come on. Why can't I just barely touch it and then I press the A button? What's the deal with that? But yeah, you can go in a normal way like that, or my personal favourite is by actually reach that little bit of platforming involved, and then actually grab the green crystal and then press A to actually get to the start where the checkpoint is. So, not too much of a pace breaker, but the only pace breaker you might actually deal with is the countdown until when you actually start to continue moving again. Alright, there we go. Level 8 is done. So, there's one more thing I need to point this out, is that after when you actually try to complete normal mode in this, particular game, that, I will explain to now when we actually going to, like, finish this playthrough up. So, anyways, level 9 in Chill Mountain, and it looks like we're gonna have to deal with, I'm pretty sure these little rail grinding segments right there, and as well as this little machine stuff that actually turns you into mini form and eventually bigger form until later, so that might be seems ideal. So yeah, because of that though, I don't exactly know that you won't able to guarantee it, although granted though, because of this little segment right there, that you can't actually pass for this part with this regular size, so you have to be perfectly smaller until you actually get to it. It kind of reminds me like a Monkey Ball game, to be honest, for that little situation where I'm pretty sure it's in level, I think it's floor 7, the most hardest level in the game. Like, it appears way too early on that level. I gotta say that much. Okay, the rest of this wall wasn't so bad after all, so there's a green crystal right down there, so if you want it, then you should be able to actually get yourselves comfortable with. So anyway, let's go ahead and just walk through this little thin pathway, and And then trying to get into this little machine to actually grow ourselves back into the medium form. And then before we go, there's the Stomp Temple part, which we're about to grab, which sure enough I did. And then kind of think of it, on during the 2012 playthrough of this, is that I think I actually missed out 2 of those collectibles in 2 levels in this world, because basically it's something like this. 1, I do not know where are they, and 2, that I have no idea how to get them, so... And I believe that, I think the biggest example of it was, I think it's level 5, that I seem to miss the Stomp Temple part. And then basically that I have to like cut the video footage of it, and then somehow I just managed to find a way to actually get to it. And I think there's another level involved. I think it was on level 9 or just level 8. I'm not exactly sure now. Or maybe level 10. I'm pretty sure it's level 10. Alright, so if you approach onto here, then if you go behind where the snowman is, then that's how you essentially get the Stomp Temple part. This level's not too bad. It's pretty simple and easy if you actually get a glimpse of it. So, there's gonna be a lot of turning and deja vu type of things and such, and there's some bit of guardrails with these little bells attachment to it, and we can actually get ourselves a checkpoint from it. And let's see what we can actually do in here. Although granted though, it could just potentially, and I can see there's a green crystal right over there. It was right behind the snowman is, mainly on the left, so yeah. Alright, so now what we can do in this last part is by basically going for those little diagonal fences that we need to be very careful of. So I'm pretty sure at the end that the last part might actually be quite a bit more precise too. So I think we're actually, for the most part, we're getting so way too big on this. So yeah. And then I believe this is the last part of the level. So yeah, don't rush into those bells, because obviously if you bash into those bells, although quite hard, then you probably ended up having to restart for that section again. And it looks like at the very end of that level, we actually get on the sledge, just like Father Christmas used to ride on, or Santa. So it's pretty cool nonetheless. And before we actually end this video off, we're going to be tackling through the last thing we can do here, is the Chill Mountain 11. So basically that's all we can go here. So yeah, as you can see, we actually got a panda marble right there. So it looks like that we're almost done with this world, so only one more level to go until we actually decide to move on for the next objective to deal with. Okay, so right off the bat, there's the fists. Oh, you shoved me onto the bottomless pit. Thanks a lot. Even then, it does remind me of iRock from Super Mario 64. And Super Mario 64 DS as well, if you want to count that. Oh gosh. I completely forgot about this part, actually. So, let's try that again. Okay, hopefully we're not going to mess everything up this time. If eventually I was gonna mess everything up, but that easily at one point, but still. So here we go. Oh yeah, here's another gimmick we actually come across. It's these little green goop. If you every time when you touch one of those, then it'll just make the marble too slow. So I think that's about it basically. So not much detail. So actually just a compromise as the information suggestion. How good thing there's a checkpoint right there, and because of that, if I actually screwed up in that section, then I can, whoa, and we made it to the end. So yeah, and that, believe it or not, it is it for Chill Mountain. So, and we basically got ourselves some little bit of ingredients list or something like that. So now let's move on to the next world, which apparently it was this little ocean treasure. I think that world is called. You need a submarine to go to the ocean treasure area. Okay. To make a submarine, you need to fuse together the following 3 parts: can, periscope, and screw. I put a mark on the world map, so see if you can found it, okay? Okay, so we can't actually access to that world yet, because obviously, after that cutscene is over, that we can actually access to those 3 levels in these hidden worlds. So this meaning that if you probably can tell that we've actually encountered these little submarine icons in the secret worlds, meaning that we have to get every single part of the submarine. So we're gonna have to finish this video here. So next time on Let's Play Marbles Balance Challenge for the Nintendo Wii U is that we're about to be finding those 3 submarine parts in Candy Island, City, and Haunted House. And eventually we're getting to Ocean Treasure along with it. So yeah, see you guys next time. Later, fellas.